Quick yes or no question. Do you all feel that education globally is very important in addressing the issue of anti-Semitism? You could just shake your head or say yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
Education is key. Okay. Thank you for saying that. I'm asking that question because, a lot of this conversation has been framed around, holding students accountable for their threats or violence towards Jewish students as they should be held accountable, absolutely. And some of it has been framed around, additional punishments, of course. But there's been a lot of political pandering discussed here without the action that goes with the accountability and the condemnation that must happen when we see anti-Semitism as it raises its head. And what I mean by that is I introduced something called the Great Replacement Theory Resolution, and I wanted us as Congress to condemn the Great Replacement Theory. The Great Replacement Theory is a white supremacist theory that says Jews, blacks, and immigrants are looking to replace white people in America. I introduced that theory last Congress. It passed along Democratic lines. I don't believe any Republicans voted for that particular resolution. In addition, my colleagues on the other side of the aisle continue to look to cut funding to the Department of Education, which will be critical to helping us fight anti-Semitism. In addition, we have discussed already cuts to the Office of Civil Rights that my Republican colleagues support. That also is critical to fighting anti-Semitism. I would also add cuts to the Department of Health and Human Services as part of this conversation. So absolutely we must condemn, absolutely we must hold people and students accountable. But how do we get into the mud and do the real work of fighting anti-Semitism without investing in education in the way that we need to invest? Not just at the higher education level, but in our K-12 schools as well. I'm a former K-12 educator for 20 years. I taught elementary school. I was a dean in the high school, and I was a middle school principal for 10 and a half years. Our kids read the Diary of Anne Frank. I've had students who have gone to the Holocaust Museum. I still have students in my district from the Bronx, black or brown, visiting the Holocaust Museum, becoming educated and wanting to learn more. Talk to me about the need, not just for you all as leaders in higher education, but every single person in this room's responsibility to fight anti-Semitism and anti-hate in all its forms. And I just want to add, we have an original sin in our nation of slavery and discrimination. That sin continues to evolve as segregation, separation, and a lack of understanding and empathy of knowledge of each other. Can you just speak briefly to all of that? We'll start here and go down the line.
Yes, thank you, Congressman Bowman. This actually echoes what I had said earlier, which is it's every single one of our responsibility, and this is why I am heartened by the full MIT community taking up this problem. It's a human problem,
yes,
person to person. So I appreciate what you had to say about this.
I want to add that I'm so glad that you raised K through 12, because everybody here is talking as if what has happened on the college campus happened de novo, and those kids came to campus and they never had an education before. So we need to be teaching about anti-Semitism, not just the Holocaust, anti-Semitism and racism in America.
And our kids live in segregated communities. So you have white kids living with white kids, black kids living with... They never interact with each other. They don't go to school together. They don't know each other. So, of course, hate is going to be a major part of our society if we continue to have segregation in our communities, in our homes. I'm sorry, please.
Congressman, I so appreciate what you asked, and I think... One of the thoughts I have is that the immediate action is very important, and the calling out of the hateful action, and for the longer term, it's an all societal education obligation, as well as every one of our responsibilities to be fighting anti-Semitism.
Thank you. That's gay.
Thank you so much for your question. We have spent a lot of time here talking about the importance of accountability for behavior that crosses the line. We've talked about how important it is to denounce language that offends our values.
As we should.
But it's as we should, but ultimately the path forward is education. It's education about the history of this hate and this bigotry. It's also education about how it manifests in the present and what modern anti-Semitic tropes look like. And it's also education about how do you actually engage in civil dialogue on really complex and divisive issues.
Thank you.